In this video, I'm going to teach you absolutely everything you need to know for how to breed and raise crickets. Not just breed and raise crickets, but I'm going to show you a little trick that I've picked up for how to do it without any smell in your home. You can breed these in your home, you won't get a single drop of smell. This is up to date 2019 information coming right at you. If you're new around here, my name's Richard and this channel is called Northern Exotics. We talk all things reptile related, whether it be breed your own live food, savannah monitor care, dubia roach stuff, bearded dragon stuff. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. Hit that thumbs up button as well. I really appreciate all the support you guys give. But while we're on here, I've got 2,100 subscribers at the time of filming this. So thanks everybody. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. So I've been breeding crickets, testing out a few different things for well over a year now. I need to breed crickets so I can get free live food to feed not only him, and not only this guy either, but also a load of leopard geckos. I've got tarantulas, scorpions, the lot. They all need crickets. So let's get into the video and show you guys everything you need to know. So let's start with what you're going to need for this entire build. You need something to house them in. Egg crates or cartons or toilet roll inserts, absolutely anything. That's just going to be used as decor so they can climb all over it. Give them a bit of surface area so they can walk around. A tub of dirt. I'll run through that mix and everything you need to know about that throughout the video. This stuff, I'll run through this stuff throughout the video, but this is basically made to stop any smell. So if you want to breed your crickets without any smell, that's the stuff you're going to need. I'll run through that shortly. A couple of shallow plastic dishes. Again, we'll sort that out throughout the video, but you will need them. Some food for them to eat. And most importantly, some crickets to go actually in there to start your whole breeding colony. Let's put it all together and show you all how to set it up. So let's start off with this piece. What is this mix? This is what the crickets are going to be laying their eggs in. It needs to be sustainable so it can keep humidity for an awful long period of time, 2 days maybe. So the mix I've got here is cocoa fibre, topsoil, and a little bit of sand. It's only 10% of the mix is sand, but that helps when the females are putting their tails into the substrate to deposit their eggs. It will keep those channels as channels so the babies, when they do hatch, can easily get out. That's a dry mix. I've still got to hydrate it all, add a load of water in it because it does need to be moist. It needs to be able to hold it together with your fist but still be able to crumble up. So what we're going to do first, we're going to get the tub that we're going to use. For me, I've got this big cricket keeper. I've taped over the holes. There's some holes in the sides. I've taped over them. It's got great ventilation and that is massively important when you are breeding crickets. So we've got to just simply take the lid off, just clips off nicely. I'll give it a good clean out with F10 disinfectant. Then we move on to the next piece, which is this stuff. This is called vermiculite. It's used in the gardening trade. We sometimes use it throughout bioactivity and stuff. Now we're going to use this as substrate. This is not commonly done. This is something I've tested for over the last year and it has worked for me. What this is a very porous material and we use it as bedding, as a bottom substrate, just a couple of inches. Now any waste that comes off the crickets gets absorbed into this, but it also absorbs all the smells that go along with it. So this keeps all the smell away from your crickets and it's lasted for me perfectly. This whole bag has lasted me over a year, so it cost me £3.50 I think it was. That's about it, but it works. It keeps all the smell and the humidity, just eliminates everything. This really does work, so I'll highly recommend this. But we're going to put 2 inches of it in the bottom of the container, and like I've said, any waste gets absorbed into this and it'll last longer than your crickets will as well. So your crickets will die off before this gets too full of all the urine, and you know what I mean. So once we've got a good 2 inches of substrate in the bottom, again it's just dead fine vermiculite. Once we've got that in the bottom, it's time to move on to our dirt mix and these little tubs. We fill these little tubs with the dirt and then we simply just dig out one corner just like that and place that tub straight in the corner. We want to fill it back in nicely, make sure it's a bit level, get it right in the corners as well. Doesn't matter if any goes in the actual mix, but try and fill it in the corners so no dubia roaches can get back there. Sprinkle off any excess there. That didn't go to plan, but you get the point. It goes in nice like that. Fill up the back corner so we've got no roaches, no crickets can go in the back. Mix up the dirt again so it's nice and moist. That vermiculite inside the dirt will just help obtain the humidity, to be fairly honest. But that is that. Make sure it's all level. That is the setup mainly complete. What we have to do now is move on to our little crates. And these are basically just to stop a bit of bullying, give a bit of surface area for them to climb on. Just a bit to get them out of the way of all the others if there starts being any animosity or whatever inside there. And that is basically all I do. Just stick them in one way or another. Just like that, nice and easy. Perfect. I don't like sticking them horizontally because then all the feces will go into all these little holes. And you don't want that because you want the feces to eventually go into the actual vermiculite so it doesn't give any smell. But just like that, that is the setup basically complete. But as for food, you can use a dry gut load mix, just like a roach chow or gut grub or bug, whatever you want to call it. Personally, I say you need to use fresh vegetables. Don't use lettuce. Lettuce is not nutritional for crickets. It just goes straight through them. Their body doesn't have time to absorb any nutrients inside the actual lettuce. The idea of doing this is to feed your live food extremely healthily. So when you feed it off to your savannah monitor or your bearded dragon or your leopard geckos, your animal is feeding healthy. So for me, I use carrot sticks mainly, and they've got a great moisture source inside it because you do not want to feed your crickets any water. They've got a massive chance of drowning. They're a bit stupid. They will drown with the slightest little bit of water in there. So I use a vegetable or a fruit that's got a good water substance inside of it, like carrots, apple, and so on and so on and so on. That is their food and their drink. And I simply just grab a couple of sticks and drop them in various places where they're going to be able to go around, find it, get some food, get some moisture. That's that. Let's add the crickets into this now. This is always the fun part. How many crickets do you think are going to escape? Stick it in the comment section below. Let me know. And also, while you're down there, let me know if you know any other ways to help out breeding crickets. Anybody watching this can go down in the comment section and have a look and have a read through, add their own comments and all that sort of stuff. It's all a big learning game on this channel. So for this size container, I've got 2 tubs of crickets. There's actually a lot more in here than I thought, but the idea is to basically just get them, chuck them in both at the same time, get the lid and drop the lid straight on. We'll see if that works or not. Now, you see all this dust and stuff in the bottom of these tubs. You want to keep that because inside there are various little, you've seen some little caterpillars running around or some tiny little beetles. Well, they eat all of the dead crickets. If any of them do die, they'll eat the dead ones, and it stops your live crickets from eating the dead cricket because you don't know what the dead one died of. It could have been a parasite. You don't want that transferring over to your actual crickets. So that's just a little top tip that I've learned over the years, and plus it makes it easier to just go boof straight in. Let's give this a go right now and see how it goes. Now the joy with this, I want to take the lids, just unclip it so it's not clipped on but it's resting on nicely, as you can tell. There we go. And then I'll drop that one just down here. And I'll do the same for the other tub. Nice and easy. And this is where it gets fun. Right, how many do you think I'm going to lose? I want to hold it here and tip it that way because I don't want a lot of stuff going into actually this. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take this out simply because they are already in these containers. Right, here's one. I'm going to have to go 1, 2, bang, bang, lid. Let's wish me luck. 1, 2, and lid. Perfect. Never lost a single one. If you're finding any value, please hit that subscribe button, the notification bell next to it, and click all on the notifications. That way you'll get notified every time we do upload a new video. And that's that. That's all set up now. There's plenty of space in there, as you can tell, for that amount of crickets. They can find each other so they can breed quite easily. You can see them all walking around, having a mill around. They're looking at their surroundings. You can see the piece of carrot down here. Now that has already got crickets jumping all over it. You'll find that straight away. You think when they come in these little tubs, they're going to be in these tubs for about a week. They're going to be extremely dehydrated when they do arrive. So the first thing they're going to do is go straight to the moisture source that you put in, and they're going to start feeding, getting some moisture, rehydrating themselves before they actually concentrate on breeding. Occasionally you'll see them all inside the actual dish there, sucking up some of the moisture as well. As you can tell, there's a few in there now. Leave it as it is right now. Now, with regards to heating, I'm in the UK. The temperature isn't great here. It's not hot enough. So what I do is I use free energy, free heat to heat these up. You don't want them to get over 90 degrees Fahrenheit for too long. If the whole airspace, the air temperature inside there is over 90 degrees, they won't breed as good. You want to keep it around about the 85 mark. That is perfect temperature for these to breed, that I've found anyway. Now, you can use heat mats, you can use bulbs, you can do whatever you want. Me personally, I've got my Carl Sunglow boa constrictors enclosure just here. Its heat bulb is just there, you can see. Now directly above that, heat rises, so it's rising off the bulb, going up. It's heating up that piece of wood on the top. So I will just sit this straight on the top. Now I've got a tool to help me. Just a normal temperature gun. I check the temperature on it regularly, sit that on top of there. Now you can see, well you can't see, but this side has got the lay box in it. I don't want that to be directly on the hot spot because it'll just evaporate, it'll dry up too quick. So I'll stick this side on the actual hot side and leave that side just off a little bit. And now starts the boring bit. Look, you can see it just there. It's behind the reptile system sign. There. You can see it just there. It's hidden out the way. There's no smell. All you've got to do is remember to feed it whenever the food's gone. Every 2 days, 3 days maybe, take out the old carrot, stick some new carrot in. Nice and easy. But now the worst bit, we've got to clean up all this mess that we've just made and then basically watch paint dry for 2 weeks. Watching paint dry is boring. 2 weeks is over. This is what we've got to do next. What we're going to need now, we've got to get the egg laying tub out of there and put a new fresh one in. So we've just made this one up exactly the same way we did with the exact same materials as before. We have to take the lid off. I've got a big pair of snake feeding tongs. I'll stick these in, grab it by the side, lift it out and put it in there. Nice and gentle, don't vibrate it, don't shake it too much. And then I'll just drop this straight back in, straight on the top. When that is in a tub, you can use a tall tub, a low tub, whatever you want. I just use this because it was handy and I've got it to hand. Get the lid on. Now I like to spray a little bit of water in there just to keep the humidity up nicely. I'll put the lid on, whack it on the same hot spot that this is on, but I'll put this behind it. And then that is basically just incubating the cricket eggs that are actually inside the egg laying box. You incubate those eggs for around about 2 to 3 weeks. You'll start getting a few little pinhead crickets creeping out of the tub, bouncing around and whatever. If it's the first time you start seeing those pinhead crickets poking out, start adding a little bit of live food and just a little bit of vermiculite into the actual container if you're planning on raising those eggs inside that container. Me personally, I incubate them just like this, wait for a load to hatch, and then I shake them out into a whole new enclosure, a bigger enclosure, because you're going to get a lot more crickets, so you need the more space for them to actually fit inside the new enclosure without trampling all over each other. But as soon as you start seeing the first pinhead cricket, drop a bit of food in there so they don't dehydrate, so they don't I really struggle with that word, I really do. You get the picture anyway. That's the way we're going to do it. And then it's simply just a case of growing the crickets. If you add 2 to 3 inches of vermiculite into the bottom of the big container that you're rearing the crickets in, you will never have to worry about the smell. All the feces, everything will get collected inside the actual vermiculite itself. It won't release any odour. It's absolutely perfect. I've been using it for a year and it's worked perfect for me. Once you just keep feeding them a great nutritious diet. If you can vary the diet, even better. I use dry and moist food. After that, just grow them to however you want. Always remember to keep some of the crickets back so that you can recycle them back into the breeding program. So your babies, you want them to grow up, grab some, keep them for breeding, but also add new blood. You can keep that cycle going for about 3 or 4 generations, but then inbreeding starts to happen. You don't want that too much because you start getting deformities and stuff like that. They'll start growing smaller crickets, they'll start growing longer. You want the crickets to grow up fairly quick, so you feed them a good nutritious diet, feed them off to your animals, because you know for a fact your crickets, after breeding them this way, are going to be far more nutritious than what the shop brought ones actually are, because when you buy the shop ones, they're just dehydrated, they're malnourished. I keep struggling. Right guys, that's me, it's getting late, lights dulling down. Thanks for watching, peace.